This is IsAware, powered by Intersoft Associates. IsAware is your connection to exploring the systems and software that power businesses like yours with expert insight, experience, and advice.
Welcome back to IsAware. I am Chris Mintliff, and as always, I'm joined by Hy Goldstoff and Abe Unger. We're talking about all things business process improvement, computer software development, data integration and management, big data. We're talking about the things that help make the technology that helps make your company better. And guys, today I wanted to talk about the importance of a design process in custom software development, which that's not what comes to mind for me as a business leader, owner, when I think, I'm going to need some custom software. I'm just going to tell some guys what I need and they're going to turn some nuts and bolts and we'll be off the ground and running. What is a design process and why is it important? Abe, let me start with your perspective on that. What's a design process from where Intersoft Associates stands?
So the design process is that conversation where you take all of those thoughts that are floating around in your head and you start to sort of put them on paper and say, okay, here we're going to go. Let's think about all of those things that you've been thinking about and have been sort of floating around, and maybe this, maybe that, and let's start discussing it. Let's start having that conversation. Let's build on what you've been thinking on so that we can actually build some software. Because again, you don't want to just take an idea and go right away and write software. You want to build on it. You want to make it grow. It's like a little plant. You want to make it grow. You want to grow it bigger and bigger before you throw it in the ground somewhere. You want to make sure that it can grow. And part of that is you got ideas, let's talk about them. Let's talk about what do you need? What are you trying to accomplish? What are the goals and how are we going to get to there? So you don't want to just say, here's what I want, A, B, C, we're done. Let's talk about it. Let's build a process around it. And that's the design process. And while you're doing the design process, you're going to think about things are going to come up that you haven't thought about. So you're going to start thinking about, well, now that we're talking about this, here's another thing that we can look at or another area of the business we might want to improve on. And you start to put all these pieces together, and then you can build an actual plan. So it's the brainstorming process where you're doing it with someone who can actually think of the implementation while they're talking to you. But again, get that out, get that to make sense, get that so that where people are all on the same page and everyone agrees or understands what the goals need trying to accomplish.
Hy, how much of that process is listening for you? That discovery process is listening, and how much of that is contributing?
Well, they go hand in hand. You certainly have to listen. I mean, listening is a real important part, and you have to kind of engage the brain. You know, there are many people who, while they're listening, are actually reloading, and you can't really do that. You really have to listen and say, okay, and start. I mean, what we start doing, is kind of designing something in the back of our heads and looking at, okay, that sounds great. What about this? And what about, and we're kind of forming that picture of what capabilities there ought to be. And it kind of goes like a blob to some degree, not unmanageable, but, it kind of grows as you say, okay, this might work over here. And then you kind of probe a little bit and just ask a lot of questions to dig a lot deeper. And as people talk, a lot of our own database, goes, our cranial database, I like to say, we go back to things that we know, things that we've done, adapt those as can be, but just ask a lot of questions and get the person talking. And also knowing, even though it can be done, there might not be a real business case for it, It's kind of like, yes, I can build a rocket ship, but you don't need it to go to the grocery store. So, what makes sense from a business standpoint where, the cost of doing it, can actually have, a positive financial impact. But yes, it's listening, it's asking a lot of stupid questions to get the person to talk. So you're getting more input. So the more input you get, the greater a picture that you can form, and then putting it on paper. And documenting it and let the business owner or the visionary, as well as the people who are actually going to be using it, look at it and try and tear it apart. What doesn't it do? what are we missing? What kinds of ideas does it give you that are, that we haven't heard about yet? So get that collaborative environment going, and ultimately, coming up with, a solution that will, work, have an impact, have is scalable, as Abe said, can grow, with the organization, and also doesn't break the bank with, for no impact. It's being done for a business reason. And a big part of it is understanding, and I say this a lot, is that the people that are going to be using the software are not computer people. They're using the software to make their job better, to make their job easier, and ultimately allow them to do more high value functions, within the organization. So it's listening, speaking, challenging, and ultimately, reviewing and documenting it, because, hearing someone say it and reading it are two different things.
And that's interesting, because we've kind of parsed through what I know about your design process, the first 3 to 4 steps here, which is we start with the discovery, which is that brainstorming that Abe, you talked about. And along with that comes our functional requirements. What does it need to do technically? And then, to your point, the design document. Let's get it written out. So in our fourth part of that design process is the final project plan. And Abe, how often is whatever that final project plan a dramatic departure from whatever we thought we were going to start doing on conversation 1? Not generally a right turn, but a much more, larger sort of, wow, this whole process has really helped us to get more specific or granular or broad or general about what we need. How often does that final project plan really a new thing from whatever you thought you were getting when you picked up the phone?
More often than you would think. But once you start that process, like I said, the brainstorming, the thinking, you get all these features that you'd like to implement. But the job of the project planning phase is to look at all of those pieces and to break that out into smaller chunks or phases. We live in an agile world where you're not going to do everything at once. You're going to break that down into deliverables with milestones, and how you can work through a project where you get the best bang for your buck to start with, and then move your way through those ancillary or extra benefits that you'd like to have. And the project plan will encompass all of those different things in terms of the long-term scope. And as you go through that, you may actually increase on scope when you start talking about those details in a later phase, where you might say, well, right now, let's not focus on that part of it. Let's focus on that later. Let's focus on the core. But that goes to understanding, as we were talking about before, the goals of why are we doing this? What is the goal? What are we trying to accomplish? Because that allows you to create those focus areas where let's start with this piece, let's start with this project, let's start with this phase, let's start with this module, and build that up. And that's the whole idea of the project planning, is create pieces that can be built, implemented, tested, and used as soon as possible, so that you actually can start working on the new project, you're working on this new code, using it, so that those thought processes that you had in your head now start to come to fruition. You can actually see them, you can actually play with them. And then, as always, just as the project plan had changed from the beginning of the design process, new design phases are going to come out of that conversation as well. And once you start using that software, you'll think about other areas that improvements can be made. And then again, it's a cycle. Mm-hmm. You start from the beginning, you start having that discussion, you start having that discovery, and work through that process as a cycle.
And also through our experience, is we'll guide the person into areas, if someone wants to, go crazy, we'll kind of urge them off the ledge, because, we know that's going to be, a catastrophe to try and do too much. That's, too expensive. And, we know what's doable and what's not doable, what's affordable and what's not affordable in various, scenarios. So, our goal is to, when we build something, is to build something that will be successful and that will live more than 5 years. that will continue to, provide benefits, and constantly on this constant review. No matter how good the design is, there are always, changes you can make. There are always tweaks you can make to it to improve it further. And there may be other areas in the organization that can benefit from, as Abe was saying, to the core that we had developed, the kernel that we had developed, that we can, augment the system fairly inexpensively once we have that core. And that's what, and that's, our process is, kind of a circle, it's discovery, all the way down through the collaborative development and review, and continue to do that, and it's not constant. It can be over years. We don't walk away from it, from any engagement, and we want to, help them grow. And as they grow, and as there are things that can be done that will generate, positive impact, we're there to be consultative. And if it requires software development, that's great. Great for both of us.
I think this is a really sort of key differentiator and a real advantage of talking to experts, and not just finding a team of people to put something together, put some scrap metal together and bolt it together, is this idea of ongoing review. And I like, Abe, what you're talking about. Almost each part of this phase has a tiny little wheel inside it where you keep coming back to, oh, well, that's interesting. Let's talk about why that is. And, oh, that's interesting. So as you're using it, now that we're in system development or implementation, we're seeing this. Let's talk about that. And this idea that you are a partner to help nurture and guide the vision around this thing, but then also as new opportunities see themselves, or new technologies emerge, or new business priorities emerge, you're there to help shape this thing from a strategic perspective forever, not just let's build it and let's forget about it. Let's let it be dusty on the shelf, but instead, how does this become a meaningful part of your business? I think that's a powerful perspective to have, High. And I know that's kind of how you operate, a real collaborative, communicative person. And it's interesting that that's just weaved into the DNA of this process for you.
And our culture, is really, we are deeply invested in the success of our client. We know that if our client succeeds, we'll succeed. And what's paramount to us is their success. We're invested in it. We want, we want to be their trusted partner. We want to help them succeed. We want to help them grow. And if we see something that doesn't make any sense, we will say it, whether it's involved with our software or any other area that we have experience in. We'll certainly voice our opinion. And if it helps them, great. That has things to do outside of design, outside of custom software, which is general business practice. We have, such a wide range of experiences with companies across all industries. We can provide, just a lot of value in that area, just because I think we know a lot. I think we're pretty smart, and we help them. And we really, really, want their success. And that's one of the reasons for our, customers kind of stay with us. That's why, we're thinking of changing our name to the Hotel California Software Association, because, our average retention is well over 12 years. Our biggest client has been with us for over 15 years, and we continue to provide value to them. So
check in anytime you like, but you can never leave. I like it. Abe Unger and High Goldstoff of Intersoft Associates. Thanks, guys. Really enjoyed talking about the design process and the value, the necessity. Whether you're working with Intersoft Associates or not, the value of having a strong design process is essential. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Great.
Thanks for joining us for IsAware, and a special thanks to our subscribers. Consider becoming one today. IsAware is powered by Intersoft Associates, who believes the more you know about your IT, the better. Visit us at intersoftassociates.com and schedule your free consultation to talk about how custom software can help your business.